Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How y'all doing? Well, this morning I'm in my kitchen and I'm fixing my children and my sweet little mom of 92 years. She's 93 years old, as I've said before. She'll be 93 next month in June. So she's here with me for about a week or so. So I'm fixing her breakfast, and I just thought I'd bring you guys along so you all can eat breakfast with us, okay? So this is my first batch of biscuits. I have another batch in the oven. And these are homemade buttermilk biscuits. And that's my little sweet mama right there. I'm so glad to have her here with me for a week. And we're gonna have a good time together. When she come here, I like to spoil and pamper her. She gets spoiled anyway with my brother and sister-in-law. I mean, they take care of her to the max. So when she's here with me 24/7, I get to spoil her some too. I spoil her there, but it's different when she's here with me, right in the house. I can do more. Well, we're all done with breakfast, so now it's cleanup time. Nothing like a good old faithful cast iron skillet. Yeah, I know it's a good hand. Dang wolf man. I'm gonna worry about your arm. It's a good hand. They live. Okay, so we have biscuits left over. See that? So you see now I can individually wrap these biscuits. And then when you get ready for them, I can put them in the freezer, individually wrap. Individually wrap them in wax paper probably. And then just stick them in a Ziploc freezer bag. And when you get ready to eat a fresh biscuit, put it in the microwave, maybe about 45-50 seconds. And it'll be very fresh, like they were just baked. So I made them big enough where if they want to put a sausage patty in, they could. Or you can have syrup and jelly. Taste that. Just taste a little bit. Isn't that good? Honey made with good old buttermilk. Oh, so good. I didn't eat one though, because I'm on my weight loss journey. But I made those biscuits out of love for my sweet mom and my kids. So maybe I'll eat one later, but I can't eat any right now because I'm on a roll on my journey. I do have a dishwasher that I use it, but I don't use it all the time, especially for like breakfast dishes. But when I'm doing a lot of cooking, have a lot of pots and pans, I will use the dishwasher. Sometimes washing dishes is therapeutic. At the time you can sink your hands in warm, soapy water. So it can be quite therapeutic sometimes washing dishes. The best way to take care of a cast iron skillet when you wash it, because I usually just put it on the stove and turn the heat on just a little bit, because it's important that a cast iron skillet really dry out well. I'm just going to put it on the stove and cut it on for just a little bit. Got your water? Yeah. You got your water? Sit it on the end of the counter so I can put some more in there, okay? You gonna drink that? Or you gonna put you some cold water in it? Cold water. Ice. No, we're not doing ice. The water's cold enough. SpongeBob.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
SpongeBob.
Okay, so now I've really dried it out well. My skillet on the stove. So now the best way to keep a skillet is just put a little bit of oil, not much. Just a drop of oil. Instead of just leaving it dry like it is, wipe that oil all around inside. Grease that skillet up. Don't just leave it dry. And it will cook better. See? You keep it oiled up. And that's the way you put it away. After you oil it, you can take a paper towel and just wipe it out really good. But you leave it oiled up till the next time when you get ready to use it. My skillet, I usually keep it in my oven until I'm ready to use it. My little sweet mama, she's still at the table. just got finished eating her some yogurt. So she's still at the table, honey. She's in good eating order. As long as she's in eating order, I'm good. So now what I'm going to do with my biscuits, I'm going to wrap them and I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag. I'm going to use wax paper. You gonna want more biscuits today, Mama? Okay. I made this leave a couple. Ooh, that's so off bad. I might leave a few of them in mine. If you like to know how to make biscuits, I have an older video. You can go back and check that video out on making homemade buttermilk biscuits. I think with that recipe, I put sour cream in these biscuits too, but you don't have to use the sour cream. I usually put a little sour cream and Hellmann's mayonnaise. That's my main mayonnaise is Hellmann's. So I use about, and these are drop biscuits. These are not rolled biscuits cause Miss V don't have time for that. Miss V don't have time to be rolling no biscuits. So, these are drop biscuits, about 3 cups of flour. And then about, I don't measure anything. So, 3 cups of plain all-purpose flour. And I usually like to use a name brand flour. Because sometimes flour be a little gummy to me. That's in my opinion. But I like to use a good name brand flour. And that 3 cups of flour, I put maybe about a teaspoon and 1/4 of salt. If you're someone that's don't need much salt, you can cut back on the salt to your discretion. And then with that, like in the middle, I add my salt and my baking soda and whisk that around together. And then after that, right in the middle of that bowl, I make me a little circle like right in the middle of the bowl, open it up, and I pour my oil in there. I never measure it, but I guess, Mama, how much oil you think in 3 cups of flour, liquid Crisco? About 1/4 of a cup. So I'm thankful too, about 1/4 of a cup. And I use Crisco. I don't use any other oil in my biscuits. I only use Crisco. So probably about 1/4 of a cup of Crisco and 3 cups of flour. And then you take your fork and you start stirring it right there in the middle with that flour, adding in that flour and that Crisco together. Then after that, I get me about a tablespoonful of Hellmann's mayonnaise and put that in there and start incorporating that together. And when I kind of get that going, then I might add a tablespoon of sour cream. Now you don't have to put the sour cream or the mayonnaise. I like it because you see how fluffy these biscuits are. You see that? You know, so they really make them good. And then I do drop biscuits, so you do them to the consistency not as thin as pancakes, but thicker than pancake batter. Because when you drop it on the pan, you don't want them to move. Now my mama, when she made biscuits when I was growing up, because she always made homemade biscuits. But my mama, she always did her biscuits pretty much the same way. She didn't use the sour cream or the mayonnaise, and I also use buttermilk. After I put that tablespoon of sour cream in that mayonnaise, to get it to the consistency that I want, I use regular buttermilk after that. And I mix it all together and get it how I want it. and I get me a cookie sheet, and I use that, let me show you. I don't use it all the time, but I'm gonna show you what I use to make it easier for you. Because I can grease it with regular oil. But this Baker's Joy, cakes, anything you put in the oven, bread, macaroni and cheese, if you spray it with this Baker's Joy, it turns out very well. And I'm not trying to push Baker's Joy, but that's just what I use. And then your biscuits won't stick. And then I put them in that oven and let them brown, get done. When they rise up, and you can mash them down, when you check in your biscuits and you can mash them down and they spring back up, you know they're done. And you're gonna smell them too. But after that, if they're not quite brown enough, put them on broil. Turn the broiler on and finish browning them. Now when you, let me tell you, now when you cut that broiler on, you're gonna have to be right there with those biscuits. You can't just walk away. When you start using a broiler, you got to stay right in that kitchen and keep watching those biscuits because you'll burn them up. So if you just keep watching them, it's gonna give them a pretty brown tan. Whoop, knocked my biscuit over, but we still gonna eat it because it's wrapped up in wax paper. But then after that, when you take them out of the oven, have your stick of margarine. You can use butter. Butter is healthier. However, I was raised on, while they're still on that hot pan and you first take them out of the oven, just take that stick of margarine and rub all over those biscuits. You can do it with butter or margarine. I just was raised up doing them with margarine, so I like the taste of that margarine on top of the biscuits. I like butter in the biscuit. And then with these biscuits, you can split them open and put you any kind of meat, eggs, or whatever. You can make a breakfast sandwich. You can have them for dinner. You can, like this morning, sometimes we just dip them in syrup. But this morning with the kids, I split the biscuits open and poured the syrup inside the biscuit. And you know, because I like to think about the cleanup afterwards. And then a lot of times you just pour it out for them to dip the biscuits. They waste a lot of syrup. So I just split the biscuit all the way open and just pour syrup in there, and it was good like that. Well, all right, guys. We got all these biscuits all wrapped up.
They look good.
So we got them all wrapped. Now I'm going to get my Ziploc bag. I'm going to put all my biscuits in a Ziploc bag. And when we want biscuits or they want biscuits, or when I decide we're having biscuits, I put it like that with the kids. All we have to do is just take them out and pop them in the microwave. Just leave them right in that wax paper. Pop them in the microwave for about 40 seconds or so, because these biscuits aren't real thick. So normally I would say pop them in there for about a minute if they're frozen. But after about 45 seconds, check and see if they're warm enough for you. But I know it shouldn't take no more than a minute from frozen to warm. So you don't have to thaw them out or anything. Just pop them right in the oven like you would store-bought biscuits. So that's what I do when I clean my cast iron skillet. And that's how I handle my biscuits. So I got that all taken care of. So all I have to do now is just put them in the freezer. I really thank you guys so much for coming to my video and joining us while we ate breakfast and also while I cleaned the kitchen. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it if you've already subscribed to my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I would really appreciate that. I appreciate each and every subscriber that I get. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in my next video, okay? Bye-bye.